Five, four, three, two, one. Hey, there we go. Sherry, I have pressed all of the buttons, and if all of these little flashing things on my screen are correct, we are now live. How are you doing today? It's beautiful fall
Great.
weather today.
Oh my gosh, we're having awesome weather. I cannot believe it. You know, I still get tomatoes on my tomato plant.
Do you really?
Yeah. And I'm like,
That is
wow.
awesome.
And I love it. I always try to see how far in October I can still get tomato plants. I mean, when it's going to freeze, I go out there and, of course, get everything pulled. But right now we've
How
had great weather. I mean, my goodness, this can't be better weather, right? And I went and
and
picked, I don't even remember, I have a whole bowl of tomatoes right now. Unfortunately, I don't have enough to share with people. I have just enough for my family,
enough for the family.
but that's been great. Well, we better introduce ourselves and
Well,
talk
do you
about
want
our
people to know
topic
who
because
we
I
are?
think we're live.
We are live, and I want to welcome you to Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. I am Terry Ann Porter, life coach TA. It is time to defeat those lies of negative self talk by changing your perspective, which will reveal to you possibilities and then opening pathways onto which you can choose to proceed in truth. As always, my co host, the amazing Sherry Berger.
Good morning. Good morning. So good to see everybody this morning. For those of you that don't know me, I am Sherry Berger. I am the owner of Here to There Consulting, and we educate business owners with those tools to balance life, business, and finances because it's so important to have work-life balance or life-work balance, right? So that we can have growth, leadership, and success. So welcome to Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. And today we're talking about one of my favorite topics. What are we going to talk about this morning, Terry Ann?
Oh, we are going to talk about goal setting,
Oh my gosh, that's
reaching
so
those
exciting.
goals.
I always say that the fourth quarter, well, the first of the year is my favorite time of the year. And people always think it's like because Christmas. And I'm like, no. And we're not even in October. I mean, we're in October. We're not even in December right now. But as we go into the fourth quarter, I get so excited because I get to see my clients setting goals and we get to come up with goals and objectives. And everybody always wants to do it for 2022, right? 2022 is coming up. Everybody always wants to do it for the new year. But you know, we can set goals throughout the year.
What?
I know. And so people are more apt to want to set goals fourth quarter, first quarter, but I'm like, let's set them. And of course, I work with my clients to set them every quarter. But I'm so excited because this is when you can get people to set those goals. What are some of your goals that you want to complete by the end of this year?
Oh my gosh. Doing this has been one unexpected goal of mine. You know, I would like to take this now that you've got me so comfortable being in front of the microphone and on the camera. I would like to take this one step further and move towards podcasting.
That would be awesome because before you were doing Tea Time with Terry Ann.
Yes. And I still do that on occasion. I need to do my Tea Time with Terry Ann videos more consistently. So I guess consistency
can I put my
becomes a
coach
big
hat
goal.
on? Consistency always pays off, right?
Yes.
But sometimes we do stuff and we don't think it's making a difference. So then we're like, oh, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. But when we do something like Conversation with Sherry and Terry Ann, why do you show up at 9:30 on Wednesday?
For me?
Yeah.
I have to do this because I'm doing it with you.
Exactly. So that's the accountability. So if we get a goal and then we have accountability or get a coach or a mentor, how much more can we accomplish? So there's some Wednesdays Terry Ann or I don't feel like getting our Terry Ann or our Sherry on, right? Because we're sick or not really, just not feeling good, not wanting, but I have to show up because Terry Ann expects me to show up. Sherry expects Terry Ann to show up, right? So it's accountability. So with podcasts, if you have people that you're going to be interviewing, you would need to show up But Tea Time with Terry Ann, you've had some phenomenal people on there.
I think that I have. Yeah, and I've had an interview with this one person. What was her name? Oh yeah, Sherry Berger. That was an interesting interview.
Well, I know we
I
need
did.
to do a redo with that one because that sort of threw me off, right? And sometimes, wait a minute, I'm a Toastmasters. I can go on and on. Did you know I talk a lot?
Well,
so sometimes you got to get to the point with things, right? And so I'm
yes.
working on that too, which Toastmasters has helped me a lot with just getting to the point, saying what you need to say and shutting up. What an idea, right? Or we get the introverts that don't want to say anything. So there's a combination, right?
Sure.
One of my big goals, and I know you know it, Terry Ann, and I know I've said it over and over, is to get my book done. But I'm on I have chapter 6 reworked. It's in edited phase.
Great.
I just need to get chapter 7 totally reworked, and I'm going to be working on that on Friday. So I'm really, really excited. I think I'm going to have it through editing and things by mid-November, but my launch won't be till January because it's on a lot of the things that we talk about on here on Conversations Terry Ann. It's going to be about mindset, goal setting, having a vision, your purpose, your goals. I mean, your vision, your purpose in your life and your right. And so it's going to be on all that kind of stuff. So I'm launching after the first year. And so in November, I should be able to tell people when my book launch is. The closer I get all my ducks in a row.
Oh, how exciting. Hey, stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned to Conversations with Sherry Ann so that you can be the first. Oh, Terry and Sherry Ann. See, I've already forgotten our names. But that way, stay tuned so that you can be the first to hear Sherry's launch date.
And you can be the first to hear Terry Ann's launch date on her podcast. When is that launch date, Terry Ann?
I don't know. I tell you what, I'm taking all of my notes right now. I'm starting to make some contacts, and I am putting all the fine-tuned pieces together. There's a lot of pieces involved, just like we learned in doing this.
But there's a thing called team, right? Building your team, getting your team together. Because back in July, I had all my content put together. I'd been working on writing my book for 14 months. And then I finally started saying, what resources, what team do I need? So I have an editor that's helping me. I have proofreading people. Pam's on here. Pam's been a big help with my book. Good morning, Pam. Great to see you. Pam's been a big help with my book, with editing and helping me get it, organized and put together. And then so I have all these people on my team that have been helping me. And then in my book, you will see, because I will have my acknowledgement page of that all. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Grace.
Grace always has great goals. So what are some of your goals that you guys have that you want to accomplish by the end of the year? That's what we are talking about today, is goals. The essential asset members. That's what I call the team, the essential asset members in my book. So,
essential asset members. That's an interesting phrase.
Yes. But Pam always has those interesting phrases, right? What are some of your goals we want to ask the audience that you want to accomplish by the end of the year?
I love that. And that's the neat thing about goals, though. Sometimes I look at the goal and I think, wow, that is such a big goal. I'm never going to get to that. And we need to remember that achieving that goal is like going on a trip where you're mapping out the destination and where, stops along the way. You don't just immediately say, I'm going to be here and then get there. Or look at it like a jigsaw puzzle. The goal is your completed picture on that puzzle, but how long does it take to put those puzzle pieces together? We're talking about doing this, and you mentioned Toastmasters. I was recently sharing with someone, when I joined Toastmasters about 5 years ago, I had a dream, a goal of getting out and doing things like this. But to me, it was just an impossibility. But through that, and over the past 5 years, the dream, I guess it's always been, like I said, it's like a little ember that's been burning in the background. And as I would develop and improve on each little skill, that ember kind of flamed up a little more and a little more and a little more, allowing me to continue to grow one step at a time to where it's 5 years later that I'm able to do this. I could not have done this 5 years ago.
And you might have got a push from a friend to go live on this.
I might have.
I might have said, let's do it. Let's go. And so now we're over a year. We've been doing this. And it was uncomfortable at first. And you get more comfortable as you get uncomfortable. But sometimes to get into those goals that you have set for yourself, you need to be uncomfortable to become comfortable. And then when you get comfortable, you need to take it another step forward. And that's where you're saying, I need to do a podcast. 14 months I was working on my book on and off. And Terry Ann was one of my big supporters in, okay, when are you getting it done? But in July, I finally got mad, right? I got mad and I literally set down goals, and I needed to have all the rough drafts done September before my birthday. I don't quite have it there, but I almost hit it. So I always say you strive for an A, and if you get a B, you're successful. If I wouldn't strive for the A of having this done by the 17th of September, and now where are we in August, October, I'm close to getting my rough done, but that last chapter is not done, but I know it's going to get done. So I had to readjust that goal a little bit, but still, did you see that I'm reaching the mountain of writing a book?
Did you find that by speaking about it publicly, where people who watch us every week get to know us, you're telling them that you're doing this? Do you find that public announcement of what you're wanting to do, what your goal is, does that help you to stay on track? Does it keep it in the forefront of your thoughts?
Yeah, public announcement's a big, big deal. And that's what I would love for people to do on Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. Write what you really want to get done by the end of the year. But also, right, we're going to talk about this as we go through this month of October. We're going to talk about setting specific goals. So I couldn't just say, I want to write a book, right? You kept saying, I want to do a podcast. And even now you say, I'm going to do a podcast. But until you have a date, a plan, an agenda, your objectives, a team, what do you need? And it's okay though, because what we're doing today is everything starts off with a goal, with a dream. But then you have to start going out, and we're going to talk about it next week, and we'll talk about it throughout this month. You have to go out and set those objectives, and getting somebody to hold you accountable, like I talked about before, coach, a mentor, is always a good way to do it. There's another goal I'm working on this year, Terry Ann, is I need to get my health back on track. I need to lose weight, but I'm not trying to lose weight so I can be a model. I know you thought I was a model. I could be a model. I
thought you were.
Don't even. But that's not why I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. That's another thing, right? Because we talked about that last month, was what is your why? And my why is so I can be a good grandma, so I can get them down off the floor, so I can, be healthy, so I can get around, so I can travel, all the things I want to do. So I need to lose weight and get back on track, but I'm working on that as well. So that's another one of my goals. But having a set goal that I want to fit into this dress, or which I don't have right now, but I'm saying if you get those tight, it makes it a lot easier. If you can fit into these pants, that dress, that suit, whatever it is.
Now, as you said, saying it out loud helped to make it solid. So we have a couple of people who are stating their goals.
I know.
I'm going to share them on the screen so that they again become more, as we both talked about, making it public. A public announcement kind of puts it out there. So let's start with Pam. Pam has a goal. Pam is involved with professional volleyball. She has a goal of setting up sponsorships for the National Pro Volleyball Organization. Wow, wouldn't that be awesome?
Oh, she's working really hard at that goal.
So she's working on that
towards it.
And we are excited for you. Now, speaking about a book, Grace has a goal for a book as well. She wants to get started. And I talked about this, her motherisms, on one of my Tea Time with Terry Ann interviews, where she announced she was going to do it, and she's setting out now. Now let's break it down. 15 goals before the end of the year. The book is coming.
15 interviews, not
I'm
goals.
sorry, 15 interviews. Sorry about that.
She's interviewing other people about their moms, but I think she's even interviewing further than that, like if you have other people in your life. And
it's
I
those
can't
people
wait
in your
to see
life.
that book. And she's been working really hard on that goal because I've seen her.
So that
you want to be a little bit more, I can't say this word, so Pacific, is that how you say it?
Pacific, yes. Pacific.
Grace on how you're doing your interview, 15 interviews. That's great. And she's asking people for interviews. She wants to work with the right people. So if we start being more, drilling down what we need and doing that and putting our team together. And that's what I ended up having to do back in July. And it's hard to believe that it was I think it was the middle of July. And now we're in October, right? So it was July.
And look how much happened in just that time.
I'm saying in 90 days, look where I'm at. Just because I finally got mad, started putting things together. And Terry Ann told me over and over, you probably have a lot of it already written. You just need to lay it out and organize it. So when I laid it out, I organized it. I pulled my team together. Then it happened. So sometimes when you keep saying you want a goal, what's holding you back? Come up with some of those plans. Like I said, we're going to talk about that more this month, but I'm just saying that I'm in awe of what you can accomplish in 90 days, Terry Ann.
Yes.
You hear me? Because you say something about a podcast. I'm saying 90 days, Terry Ann. Write that down. 90 days. If you start putting things together, where could you be in 90 days, Terry Ann? Oh, by the way, I think that's almost what we have left for the year, right? Something like that.
Something like that, yes. Isn't that amazing?
So in the next 90 days or the next 3 months, right, where could you be? I'm telling you, I did this in July, and I'd already written a lot, and I had a lot, but in 90 days, you would not believe where I'm at. And I'm not trying to make it about me. I'm telling you, 14 months, I said I was going to write a book, right, Terry Ann? It's like, what the heck? And so somebody even asked me one time, well, where are you at in that? I don't know. Because I'd work on it. I'd put it over the side. I'd work on it. How many times have you done that with a yo-yo diet even? And how many times have you said you're going to do a podcast before now, Terry Ann?
I don't know if I've ever said it out loud.
Okay, but now you said it out loud, right?
But now I've said it out loud.
But you said 5 years ago, you were like, I wish I could probably do that.
Yes.
But it seemed like a dream that would not happen. I've always, not always, I don't know how long, I was told to write a book when I was in college. And I still need to write that book that I was told to write in college. And it was on overcoming. And it was about all the things that I had to do to get through college. And just in general, the last 30 years that I've overcame. And one of my professors was like, you're amazing and you need to write a book. Then I had another person tell me, and I had another, but who am I to write a book, Terry Ann? That was my thing. Now, this one is not that book, which is too funny. So I know I still have to go back and write that book. This one's going to be on what I teach, high level in my business. But Terry Ann, you've written a few books.
I have. I've written a couple of books that are out there on Amazon right now. And I went through the same process. I had all the stuff.
And what made you
just
finally
took that moment
book done?
Well, I was thinking, like when you said people told you, well, you need to write a book about this. Until it becomes something you want to do, it's not real, and you're not going to work towards it. It was the day I woke up and I said, I'm doing this. Sometimes I don't know where it comes from, whether it's the strength from God or just I'm mad at the moment. And this is it. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm going to do it. So that's when I wrote both of these. For each one, I had them already. And it was just finally saying, this is it. I'm tired of talking about it.
But what are the name of your books?
The first one's called Stitched in Christ.
Show me your book.
All right. Just a moment. We have Stitched in Christ. Let me see. And then I took it a step further and took it into the Proverbs 31 woman, God's work in progress. And they're both focused around knitting and crochet terms. You can apply those terms to any craft. And then bringing in scripture. And then there's some little journaling questions along the way. When you knit or crochet, the first thing you have to do is have your foundation stitch. If you don't, if the first row, the foundation of it isn't strong, it's all going to tear apart. And that is what happens in our Christian life. That's what happens in our life in general. If we don't have a strong foundation, it collapses. So I took that as a starting point and then built up both of them in that direction. And they're on Amazon if anyone's interested.
So I went to a conference in July and we needed to break a board of some goal that was holding us back. You know, those easy breaking boards? And we had to hit it like this, or we had to stomp on it. But if we stomped on it, it meant we didn't hit it like this. And we need to do it in 3 times. Okay? So, and you have to believe to break the board. Think about it. So it's about believing I could do it, right? I wanted to write a book. I just didn't believe. So you break the board once, hit it once. So I hit it twice, and I knew I didn't break it because I wasn't believing, right? I know this sounds weird, but it's all subconscious when you break these boards. And so I broke it. The third time I could feel I was not going to break it, Terry Ann. And I was like, nobody's holding me back. So they tried to take the board to make me stomp it, but I hurried up and hit it a 4th time. And that time I broke it because I was mad and I wanted to break the board. So after you broke the board of who am I to be writing this book? Then I went home and I had a whole supported and tribe of people that were willing to support me and help me in getting it done. But you don't realize sometimes until you, would you say, decide that you can, or decide that you will, or decide that you need to, or decide to, what is that? So when you said that about your book,
Is that something have to do with your perspective?
Exactly. But I'm going to also let Terry Ann know, I don't think you promote your books enough, Terry Ann, because your books are so important. And like, I'm writing the book right now, and I think Grace is writing her book, but I'm not writing my book for my benefit. I'm writing it for the impact it can make. So you need to share your books more. I'm calling you out on Facebook here.
Oh, no.
But you need to share it more because they're powerful and they're amazing. And so I do, after we get done here, I want you to share in the comment where they are on Amazon to give people the opportunity to read these amazing books that Terry Ann. And no, Terry Ann did not know I was going to call her out about her book. So this is a whole, but it's important. And she gifted me one of her books. Oh my goodness. I feel so honored. And so, from being on the summit, and all of us speakers got one of those books from our summit, which was great. But reading it and applying it is so important. And Terry Ann, I'm going to wait. Might give you till the end of October, but we all need to know by the 1st of November. Can we know when your podcast is starting?
Oh, okay. That's it. Yes, I will give you a date by the 1st of November. I will give you a start date.
Yay.
All right, I got to make a note of this. Wait a minute.
I'm so excited to find out about this podcast that I know Terry Ann can do. And Terry Ann already has people that are going to be on her podcast. Don't you, Terry Ann?
Yes, I do. I do.
Let me say one of my favorite sayings I learned. I know Pam learned it too. We were working with coaches. Done beats perfect every time.
Every time.
Write that down, Terry Ann. Done beats perfect every time. Get that podcast. Look at your friend Linda's out here saying, yes, Terry Ann, those books are great. I share them with my friends. Okay, but Terry Ann's podcast is going to be amazing.
Oh, thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And they're awesome.
All right, it's on my notes.
Share your goals. Share your goals out on the Conversation with Sherry and Terry Ann. And next week, we are going to be talking about how
breaking them down,
how to put those goals into action, right, Terry Ann?
Have Have you ever heard of the SMART acronym? Well, we're having trouble with words today. Have you heard of the SMART acronym?
I have,
break
but
down
Grace
your
just
goals?
said something that needs to be shared real quick. Terry, get past being humble and be proud of your accomplishments.
Thank you, Grace. Yes, that's it. I tell you what, I am very excited at them.
That is such a hard, you know that?
It is
that is
hard.
Such a hard thing. I know I've struggled with when I get an accomplishment of any kind. And Terry Ann, I know you do everything for the glory of God. And so you need to be proud of your accomplishments because God's helped you get there. And you are amazing. And
a lot of pushing from my wonderful friend.
You did not share that. Terry Ann, get past being humble and be proud of your accomplishments. Share that on there.
All right.
There you go.
It is. Don't you find it hard to share what you've accomplished?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a whole nother topic. Maybe
that's a whole nother.
That
we need that will have to be. That's going to have to be one of our topics.
Because it is right, and I don't know why. Especially I think as women, that when we get a pat on the back, we're like, why?
Yes, we kind of shrug it off. Oh, that wasn't me. Yes, so we need to, we have
somebody else on here that says, "Good job, women, ladies."
Thank you, Facebook user. We appreciate the comments. So now, particularly Grace and Pam. Now we've called out publicly. You've stated publicly your goal, and we've posted it so it can even be seen publicly. So we are going to be excited to watch as you work through with us the breakdown of achieving that goal, and we are going to be excited to hear your results. Anyone else want to, before we have to quit, anyone else want to publicly make a statement of, this is my goal that I'm working on? We don't want to leave you out here. Okay, Pam's narrowed it down just a little bit further. She's going to have, instead of saying, I want to do this, she's saying, I will get 3 national sponsors by the end of the year. That's leaning towards that specific we're going to talk about next week, isn't it? We are so excited. I want to thank you all for joining us. Now you've made me publicly make a goal statement that that now I have to definitely go towards, and I hope it was encouraging to the others who have shared their goals. I can't wait to see how you're going to make me break it down, Sherry. How would you like to finish us up today, Sherry?
How would I like to finish it?
Why don't you finish us up?
I would love to finish it up with Terry Ann is going to put the books in the chat. So we'll be able to find Terry Ann's books. If you guys don't have them, they are amazing. Linda wasn't joking. And so I would look at, I think one is the first edition and the second's the second edition. Is that how that is, Terry Ann?
They kind of are standalone, but yes, they do kind of work together. Stitched in Christ was the first one. And then the Proverbs 31 woman, realizing, kind of like with our goals, that Proverbs 31 woman did not just become that person overnight.
So, and then I want to brag about Terry Ann again. Like you said, she's being too humble. There's a podcast, I mean, not a podcast, a YouTube channel that somebody's actually reading her book.
Yes.
Is that right, Terry Ann?
Yes, she's read. She
and
has
I
read
want you to
actually
share
both
that
books.
as well. This lady is using the content that Terry Ann on her YouTube. She asked Terry Ann to do it, and she's reading Terry Ann's book. Is that not phenomenal? So these are some great things that are going on in Terry Ann's life, but more importantly, what great things are going on in your life? And let's talk about how we can break them down into specific goals so that we can start setting up our goals for the end of the year. Again, we're in a big topic that I love. And so I will look forward to seeing everybody next Wednesday at 9:30 Central Time. Get your favorite coffee. Okay, your favorite drink. Terry Ann, they need coffee.
Come on. I tell you what, there's some really good teas out there.
I love tea too, but our tea and coffee is always our fun thing. But anyway, guys, you guys go make it a great day, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.
Next Wednesday. Bye.